Hey, 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 happy Sunday. All right, we're gonna move you back just a little bit there. Okay, hey, 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 jump on. Tell me your name, where you're from, and happy month end, right? Happy month end. Hi, Jeree. I love month end. How about you? I thought I would jump on live today before the day gets away. Heading out to church with the kids in a few minutes here, but I wanted to talk to my family for a moment. So go ahead and share this. Hi, Alyssa. Welcome. Go ahead and share this to your group pages. Definitely share it to your wall if you'd like to. I want to talk to you today about the law of sowing and reaping, and it's very timely, let's just say that, for many reasons, and we'll talk about that. Let's get more people on. Hi, Kat. All right. I am so excited. I've had this burning on my heart to talk to you about this for the last couple days, and Mel Robbins and the 5-second rule would have slapped my hand for not doing it 2 or 3 days ago, but I decided I'm going to do it today. I'm not going to procrastinate any longer. I'm going to jump on here and we're going to talk about it. So that's what we're doing. Jump on, say hey, tell me where you're from. I can't wait to get started. Let's build the numbers. I know we've got some crazy weather in the West, in the Midwest, with some tornadoes and bad weather, and I'm sorry to hear that. I know we got rain up here, but the grass is going to be oh so green very, very soon. Hi, Megan. Hi, Brianne. Hi, Jessica. All right, well, we're going to get started. It is Sunday morning. I know a lot of people like to head to church, but I did not want to wait. Like I said, Mel Robbins, the author of the 5-second rule, would jump all over me right now if I did not take this prompting that I've had for the last 2 days and actually do something about it. So I'm going to do something about it. And it's interesting because have you ever felt like, Lord, show me a sign, show me a sign, show me a sign? And he's like hitting you upside the head with things, but it takes him doing it multiple times. Good thing he's so patient with us. Well, here's what I want you to know. What I'm going to talk to you about hi, Mandy. What I'm going to talk to you guys about today is not, what I'm going to talk to you about today is not from Chase the Lion, although there are parts of that in here. So that was one of my first validations of what I should be doing. What I'm not going to talk to, I'm not talking to you about this today because Furtick just happens to have a preaching series going on called Harvest Problems. That is not the reason why we're meeting here today, although again, more validation, another hit upside the head like, girl, get on it already. But the reason I'm going to talk to you about the law of sowing and reaping is because of some experiences I've had personally where the light bulb just went on after 11 years in this business, how important it is to stay consistent, even when you feel like, yeah, but I'm a black diamond. I shouldn't have to do that anymore. But it's how we build this business. What we plant is what we harvest, okay? Now, I'm not saying y'all are a bunch of farmers on here and maybe have experienced sowing and reaping seasons on a farm, but some of you have. So bear with me here as I go through this example for you. I'm going to start back by telling you a story about my dad. My dad, Mark Pentecost, CEO of It Works Global, told me a story multiple times, and maybe I heard him tell it to other people and I just happened to be in the room, so I heard it multiple times. And the story went like this, okay? When he started in his first at-home business, his first network marketing company, there was a group in Plainwell that he would travel to like every Thursday. And every Thursday, this man would empty out every piece of furniture from his house and he would bring in folding chairs, okay? Every piece of furniture. And every week, 2 people showed up, him and one other guest, okay? So only 2 are showing up. Now, my dad did this every Thursday for months, maybe a year. I can't remember exactly the time frame, but he kept going. And he said he would almost be afraid to go home and have my mom say, how was the meeting tonight? And him say, only 2 people showed up again. And yet he kept going back. Can you imagine being the spouse? I can imagine, had that been my story, my kids going, Mom, why are you going out again? There's no new business coming in from this. Well, let me tell you a little bit more about this story. Those 2 guys, the guest that came, he slept through the whole presentation. He slept through the whole presentation every week. And one week, out of nowhere, he woke up and he said, oh, I know somebody. And he signed a man who literally transformed my parents' business. My parents' business never looked the same from that moment on. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Mark, why'd you keep going back? Mark, the writing's on the wall. This group isn't doing anything. But yet this group each and every week planned for Mark to be at that meeting. And then one day this man woke up out of his sleep. How good would you think your presentation is if the man is like lightly breathing heavy during your presentation? You know, like, how do you even get on? I like to feed off the energy of the room. I don't even know how he did it, but he did it. And when that guy decided to do something about what he was hearing in his sleep, maybe he was dreaming, maybe he wasn't sleeping, maybe he was dreaming, no, whatever. He got up, he sponsored one person that changed the face of my dad's business. And I say that too for a number of things. Yes, you know, the more seeds you plant, the larger the harvest. But I think consistency is also planting. Consistency, you know, continuously showing up, continuously putting in the time, making the added effort. That to me is all sowing. And you cannot reap what you don't sow, right? And I look at that in many areas of my life, but I'm going to specifically talk to you today in regards to business. So let's move that on a little bit to how this really was prompted in my heart to get on here and talk to you about this story. I just was in New Jersey, and I personally have a presidential diamond there, Kim Haber. And Kim said there's a lot of leaders that have come together out here, and we really would love for you to come out. And, you know, we had some team time during the day. We had some emerging leaders and some leaders there. And then we had a great event that night. I know they're planning to do this every month, rotating leaders. I love it. They're sowing. They're sowing seeds into their harvest, their future harvest. And it's harvest time, guys. We're not a household name yet, but we will be one day. So that means the harvest is now. The sowing needs to be done now. You are going to reap what you sow. And I'm watching this group come together, and I'm watching them, you know, lock arms, triples and presidential. So you better believe some of those triples are like, I don't want to do this. And yet the others are coming around each other going, you don't have to do this alone. We're in this together. They are not in each other's downlines. They're in each other's sidelines. And so they are going to consistently every single month do a one team, one mission in that New Jersey area. And then they're doing a mini boot camp at the end of July. I love that. I love the message they're sending. I like the one team, one mission. We know we're better together. Do you think they're going to reap a bountiful harvest? I know they are. I know it's only a matter of time. Now, let's just also say this. Let's just say life happens to one of them. Let's just say. And let's say you're one of those people out there going, hey, I got this. I'm doing one every month. Every month I'm doing it. My question to you is, do you have other triple diamonds and above in your area who should be doing it? I'm guilty of this myself. I really worked hard to rotate the leaders here in the area as I realized what I was doing by being the one leading them every month. What I was doing is I was crippling my area for multiple reasons. What if something happened to me where I couldn't have a meeting? Then there was no meeting. What if, just anything from happening to me, illness, family stuff, personal issues. If I'm not having the meeting, then there's no meeting. When you bind together like that, the meeting keeps on going. And remember, the best kind of leader is one who can be shot and dead or shot and killed, and no one even notices because the systems in place keep things moving forward. Okay, enough about that example. Here's another reason why this hit home for me. So I'm loving watching them all come together, but I got to tell you, do you know how Kim Haber came into my life? Like I said, presidential. She went presidential in 1 year. Unfortunately, the company she had been with was not doing well. She saw the writing on the wall. She had too many people on her team that would be hurting greatly if this company didn't survive, thrive, whatever. So she started looking for another home and praying about it. And she had seen these advertisements going on in her feed about the business. And so she's very she wanted to give the person that had been consistent and passionate, excited about the business, the opportunity to be her enroller. They set up, there was a party going on, or they set up an appointment or something like that in the local area, and she was going to go to that. The night before, she ran across my page. Now, she just was drawn to me, connected to me, but she thought to herself, all right, Lord, but I already committed to going to this thing, so that's what I'm going to do. But gosh, I wish I could connect with her. Anyway, she goes to the meeting the next day. Guess what happened? Nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. When she called the lady that was supposed to be driving a couple hours to meet her, now I'm going to say a couple hours, 3 hours to do this mini wrap party that was going on, the lady said, oh, we had a bunch of cancellations, and so I wasn't going to come. I was just going to Zoom in with this other girl coming. Well, she goes, that's fine, but the other girl isn't here either. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. How can I make it up to you? Blah, 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 blah. It was just such a long drive for not a lot of attendance. Oh my gosh, such a long drive for not a lot of attendance. Now, here's where I pause and think. That one decision to not sow seeds, to not sow into her business, to not do what she said she was going to do because there was not as many numbers as she'd hoped there were. You guys, this business builds itself one person at a time. And when my dad told me that story, it was because one day I called him and I said, Dad, I have this launch party tonight, but right now she's only got 2 people coming, and I'll be lucky if she's there. I'll be lucky if she's the only person that shows up. And he said, Cammie, let me tell you about what happened to me. And because of that story, I kept showing up. I kept showing up even if that one person was only the new distributor or that one person was the rep hosting the party, because then I knew it was my opportunity to sow into her. I might not be bringing on new DTs and new customers, but through our time together, her confidence and belief would grow. She'd see I'm committed to her, that we're in this together. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And because of that time together, whether there were people there that night or not, we saw a harvest from that later. How many of you have traveled outside of your city, your state, to a meeting? I'll never forget when Lori Conway and I were talking about a recent meeting like that. She said, should I go? Should I not? And I know, you guys, I know. There's an investment in time and there's an investment in money on top of other investments that you're making. But folks, do you know in the Bible, it says in Ephesians 6:9, do not grow weary of doing the right thing, because at the right time, you will reap a harvest of abundant blessings if you do not give up. And I believe when you don't show up to that wrap party, when you don't show up to that one-on-one, you are giving up. Have I been perfect? Have I showed up to every wrap party? No. But you know what? The ones that I couldn't show up to, I'll never forget making a phone call to Denise Walsh and going, I was having problems in my marriage, and I said, I can't get to the party tonight. And she said, and she's an ambassador at this time, but she's also one of my dear friends. I remember calling her and going, I can't stand up this new girl. She's a brand new distributor launching her business. I cannot get there. Can you go on my behalf? Guess what? She did. What if I had not asked her? Then the answer would have been no, and I would have stood that girl up. Or maybe I would have gone and it could have hurt things going on, or I just emotionally wouldn't have been with it. And I just want you to know that more times than not, like 99% of the times, I go. That 1% I don't go, I really work hard to get someone there in my place. And that's why a lot of times when I do launch parties, I invite other team members as an opportunity for us to just connect, or for them to get around it and in front of it, because I know what that does for people, even in those car rides you have together. Here's another great example. So I was down in Tennessee visiting my grandparents in this very tiny town with our favorite little restaurant called Bell Buckle. Some of you might actually know what that is. And I blitzed a waitress. Really fun, energetic, enthusiastic personality. I blitzed her. Guess what? She joined my team a month later. So I drove 9.5 hours from my home. I just got a new car. I thought, what a fun way to get used to it and get familiar with it. I knew I could see my grandma and grandpa while I was down there. And I knew I had another diamond that had just moved from California to Memphis. So I thought, I'm going to launch this girl, drive a couple hours over to Memphis, and help this girl really get her team established in Tennessee. Couple things, and then one more thing. A girl near Memphis was a new distributor of mine, and while she told me she'd have a wrap party, so it was actually going to be two launch parties and helping that established diamond that had just relocated. Never in my life had anything like this ever happen on my trip. I get down there, I do the party for the girl that was the waitress. It was a great party, lots of customers, lots of business, potential connections, but it was awesome, right? Tons of customers, tons of rep cash, fun group of girls. On my way to Memphis the next day, the woman who had been a diamond that moved to Memphis had to get a job, finances weren't where she wanted to be. She called me that day and said, they called me to pick up extra hours at work and I have to go. What do you mean you have to go? You were supposed to be doing a launch party. What about all these people? Well, I didn't really put it together. Wait a minute, I'm driving 10 hours. 10 hours. What do you mean you didn't? And I literally had to take a deep breath and go, okay, Lord, what is my purpose of being here? Because at that time, the other new girl had said, nobody can come and I just can't do it. And I said, listen, I'm here for you. So we met and we had coffee. But guess what? I had nothing going on for the next 2 nights. I called Tina Hatcliffe sideline and I said, I don't know if you have anything going on or if we want to put something to go on. I said, but I drove down here to work with some new team members. It's just not going to happen. And I'm just asking God, what do you have me here for? And Tina Hatcliffe and some of her team, they put a bunch of people together that night. So we put together an impromptu training. And I still, today, have no idea why the Lord allowed all those things to happen. But it was such a blessing of a time with some of my sideline sisters. I met some great people, learned some great things from them, as well as I'm sure I was able to invest in them. While neither of those 2 girls that I traveled to Memphis are still on my team. So again, I cannot see the harvest yet. And maybe the harvest is happening and I haven't seen it and I don't realize it until I go home to heaven and the Lord says, good job, well done, good and faithful servant. But that first party I went to with the waitress, well, she stopped doing the business a couple months later. Her best friend called me over a year ago and joined. She had been watching me for 2 years and she called me and she joined. So you never know what's going to happen. But if you don't say yes, if you don't do what you committed to doing, if you don't continue to sow seeds to reap a harvest, that harvest will never come. I can promise you that. All right. One of my favorite quotes is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And for me, that's in basketball, but that's actually Wayne Gretzky, a hockey player, right? So you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I guarantee you will never regret the shots you do take. You will only regret the shots you don't take. And here's what I know. Michael Jordan is remembered as the highest scoring basketball athlete ever in history. Do you also know he holds the record for missing the most shots? Nobody remembers that. Nobody talks about that record, do they? But he also holds that record. So if you want to be, here, the only way you're going to get there from here is by taking action, massive action every day, talking to many, many people so you can reap a harvest, doing the work, getting to the events. Getting to events that are 3 hours away, folks, that is not far. That is an investment in your business, and you got to decide, where is my commitment level? I say I want double diamond. I say I want ruby. I say I want ambassador diamond. But am I working this business like an ambassador diamond would? Am I working this business like a double diamond would? Am I working this business as a ruby would? I truly believe I was working this business like an ambassador to the best of my ability, starting as a distributor. Now, obviously, I learned how to work smarter so I could work harder. I learned how to get a little bit more intentional with my time, focus, and I obviously got better at my skills. But I believe from day one, I started working this business as an ambassador diamond. And I know if that's what you want to be, you can do that too. So let's talk about this. It's month end. It's month end. Okay, so how does this apply to month end? Well, I don't know where you're at in your plan for this month. I don't know if you hit your plan a couple days ago. I don't know if you hit your if you're trying to still hit your plan today, or if you realized last night at midnight that it was not going to happen. So what does that mean for today? How do you live your life today? Well, if you hit that goal 2 days ago, you should already be working towards your May goal. Don't stop the momentum. Use the momentum you've built this month to build promotions in your team, to keep moving in May. And you can start May right now in April. Do not wait for May 1st. Start right now. Remember, everything you sow, you will reap. What if you realized last night that you weren't going to hit that goal? What if you realized that? Then keep sowing seeds. Get to that one-on-one today. Don't reschedule it. Get there. Get to that wrap party today. Do that live today. Be excited and passionate about whatever this goal is that you set, that you believe in your mind you cannot hit today. You still never know. You never know. And if you don't try, the answer is going to be no, or you won't get there. And remember, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But you'll never regret the ones that you do. So keep shooting. Keep finishing the month strong. Keep contacting. Get to that wrap party. Get to that team training. Whatever it is you have today, don't back down. All right. And then again, whatever momentum you've been creating all month long, I know you've been creating momentum because you're almost there. If you felt like you're just not going to miss it, the worst thing you could do is to slow down, to put the brakes on and ride out the rest of the day. No, you got to push the pedal to the metal and keep on moving. May is tomorrow. And the worst thing you could do for your business is stop momentum. Please just steer it. I beg of you, keep sowing because you'll reap what you sow. All right. Now, what about those of you that you didn't really have a goal this month? You were just kind of leaving it up to chance. Here's what I know. You'll never get where you want to go if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have that view in sight. Again, you've got to keep handing out blitz cards. You've got to keep getting into wrap parties. You've got to keep posting, going live, making connects, following up for the first time or following up for multiple times. Remember, it takes 7 times on average for someone to hear about this before they decide to get on board. So my message to you is get a target. There's no reason to wait for May till tomorrow. Start today. Start your May goal today. Get your game plan in place. You know that game plan sheet is going to be up tomorrow morning. Check Wired because we've got the May game plan in place. But there's no reason to wait till tomorrow morning. Get started today. So all 3 of you can use this law of sowing and reaping to really take your business to a whole nother level. And one last little word I want to say to you, because some of you might be thinking, so-and-so came in and they did this in, record timing. I love Ashley Sinclair's story about how quick she went Ambassador Diamond. And what I love about her story, and she'll tell you this, and Alyssa Bilyeu, she'll tell you this because she's got a very similar story. They came in and they went fast. Does that mean they didn't work hard? Oh no, they did work very hard. They sometimes got only hours of sleep a night, maybe not even. But they both came in with a pool of people that they had already been sowing into. Alyssa Bilyeu had been a blogger already, so she already had a huge following online. Ashley Sinclair owned boutiques, bridal boutiques. So again, she had a massive pool that she was already sowing into. So she was able to see, they both were able to see a rapid return on their harvest more than some of us, like me, who took 6 months to sign their first distributor. And lots of things play into that. Obviously, your mindset. You'll never be a double diamond if you don't believe you are worthy and can be a double diamond and work like a double diamond. But at the end of the day, there is no shortcut. It is called the law of sowing and reaping. And if you do not sow into your business, time, talents, effort, number of people you're contacting on a regular basis, showing up to events, and I could go on and on and on, then you are not reaping, or you're not fully reaping to the full potential of what you could be. So that is all I have for today. It's been a burning on my heart and soul to share it with you. I love you so much. I want to hear what you think, an experience you've had. Comment that below. If you don't want to miss one of these opportunities where we can connect like this, make sure you click follow. And if you didn't know, I have a podcast. I started my very first podcast. There's only 2 episodes up, but you're more than welcome to go look at that through iTunes. If you haven't downloaded the podcast app, do that. And for those of you that want to dig more into harvest problems, you'll want to follow Pastor Stephen Furtick at Elevation Church because he's talking about it now too. So don't forget, we're chasing the lion all together starting May 8th. We'll talk about it, but you should be reading chapters 1 through 3 right now. I love you so much. Have an amazing Sunday. Love month end, but realize it can be the beginning of May. It doesn't have to be the end of anything other than those of you hitting that final promotion. Don't stop. Keep going. And I want to encourage you to go fast. I love you.